last year, obviously, LeBron led the league in assists. I'm wondering, as you go into this year, with a short off season, unpredictable year, do you want him carrying the same kind of playmaking load as a year ago, or do you view that as part of the advantage of having Dennis to reduce that?
Yeah, still undecided. We still got to see these guys play with each other, establish their chemistry, and then we'll decide on sort of usage and roles and all that stuff as we get closer to the season. But it's definitely, we definitely have that luxury of potentially playing, lightening the load, so to speak, like you mentioned with LeBron, with Dennis. So we have that option.
Is he going to play tomorrow, LeBron?
We're still undecided with regard to which guys are going to play and which guys won't tomorrow.
Dan?
Hey, Frank. How's Alex? After yesterday, we didn't ask you about him last night. Kind of what happened and how's he feeling today?
Yeah, he's still sore. He just has I believe it's a hip flexor strain, and he did not practice today. Will not play tomorrow. He's one guy we know will not play tomorrow, and but they don't believe it's going to be any further than that. So hopefully be back at work for Tuesday's practice and playing the Phoenix games.
Alan Slewa?
Hey, Coach. Just get your thoughts on Kuzma. Seeing how he, I guess, adjusted last season to playing the role that the team asked him to. How do you see him evolving this season? What are some areas of his game that you think will be good for him on a personal level, but also beneficial to the team? Okay? If you could talk about Kuz a little.
Yeah, we want him to continue to improve his perimeter shooting. To be that type of quick catch and shoot guy at his size really provides a great offensive dynamic for us. Obviously the decision making as he attacks the paint, something he'll continue to grow with. And then defensively, I love the effort that he played with last year and how he got better at just understanding coverages and angles and all those types of things. So we want him to continue to grow there as well.
Calhoun?
Frank, I know we were asking you about Taylor last night, and you talked a lot about his offensive value, the different ways he can attack. But in order for him and a guy that young to get a regular role, what's sort of the baseline that you expect? Is it on defense? Is it making good decisions? What's sort of the minimum criteria he needs in order to secure playing time?
Well, with any young player, you have to hold your own in the defensive end, and you have to play offensively, fairly mistake-free. You don't want to, you can't be out there, with turnovers and bad shots and, execution pieces that aren't done at a high enough level. So, I think it starts with, holding his own on the defensive end, which he's so far shown me he can do, and then offensively, playing within himself, minimizing mistakes, and that's just holding your own. But we feel like he can do a lot more than that. So that's the encouraging thing for me. We feel like we can put the ball in his hands to be an attacker of the paint, and is also very good on the backside, shooting the basketball. So, but it starts with the defensive end.
Melissa Rowland?
Hey Frank, all season long last season, all of the guys, including you, talked about how great the team's chemistry was. Guys called it, the best out of any team they've ever played on so far. I'm curious how the new guys have affected that. What's been kind of your impression so far of the team's chemistry and how it's going to change and evolve this season?
Yeah, so far so good. I think our guys, the new guys have come in and really fit in well. Both on the court, but also, with how they're connecting, when we're not between the lines. And, that's something that, we'll have to continue to work towards and achieve that positive chemistry throughout the year.
Jordan Richard?
Hey Frank, after watching last night's game, just on film, if you got the opportunity to, can you just talk about Dennis Schroeder You know, there was a lot of times, even though he had 1 assist, where he was making an extra pass, you know, within the offense. And also Devontae, you know, how he contributed with 8 points and 6 rebounds. Can you just talk about like that second group and how they fought back and got the W and how you were pleased with them?
Yeah, well, I like the way Dennis played last night. You know, he had 6 turnovers, but I think a lot of that was him just trying to play extra pass basketball, which is who we are as a team, and he was playing selflessly. So, you know, I'm okay with those types of things. And you know, I think Devontae, you know, brings great energy. You know, I think Montrezl Harrell is a great model for him to follow in terms of being an undersized big guy that can just really affect the game with his energy. You know, so he had a strong performance last night.
Last 2 questions are follow-ups, so we'll start with Dan.
Frank, Wesley was telling us last night that he and Kawhi kind of had a brief conversation on the court about Talen's age and just sort of like not being able to believe it that, you know, it's 20 or 19 or whatever they call it. Is there a maturity to his game that you like? Do you see that in him? And I guess could you kind of describe like if he does sort of play beyond his age?
Yeah, I mean, I think he just has a great instinct for the game, you know, and his skill set is very versatile, you know. So you know, I definitely think he's a mature young man. I think he's further along in his abilities than we all thought he would be at that age. And you know, I feel like we got a heck of a player in the second round last year, you know. So future's bright for the young man.
Okay, and our last follow-up, Bill Oram.
Hey Frank, just kind of going back to the point guard question, you guys have a lot of non-traditional playmakers in the sense that LeBron's 6'9", Taylor, handles the ball. This might be leading the witness a little bit, but how important is the term point guard on this team and the idea of identifying a point guard? Like last year, LeBron called himself a point guard, but he usually was listed as a small forward and things like that. Like, how important is that label with this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important with every team. You know, and I don't think LeBron's role is going to change, even if he has the ability to defer to another playmaker out there. You know, he's still going to be the primary ball handler, just like he's been throughout his entire career, whether he has another guard out there with him or not. So, you know, whether you use the phrase point guard or not, you know, is really not important to me. It's really about being being the quarterback of the offense.
Just wondering, when you looked at the preseason game, obviously with so many guys out and so many guys in different roles, it's hard to take stuff, I'm sure, but what can you take out of how you guys performed that sort of has meaning beyond just one night?
Well, first and foremost, the most important thing is we won the game. I mean, we know it doesn't go towards the record or anything like that. None of these stats carry over to the regular season, but the habit of winning, the expectation of winning, is something that is paramount here, and we were able to take care of that. Obviously, the game wasn't as smooth as we would like to see, but that's to be expected. Rust, new players, all that be as it may. Stuff that we still need to continue to work on, stuff that we got better at today. But it was good to get out there to compete with these guys, and most importantly, come away with the win. And we played hard from start to finish, and so that's one thing that's also very important, is never questioning effort or anything like that. It's just about execution and shaking off a little bit of rust.
Bill, are you good to ask your question?
I'll be really fast. I'm just letting my kid play with some sharp things for a minute. Wesley, in this short period of time, what have you learned about Frank, and what has kind of been what have you taken away from this first week with him?
He's a very personable coach. He's very hands-on. He's very in tune with his players. He's very adaptable. But he's a guy, he demands excellence, and that's what you expect. That's what you want. You know, a guy that's going to keep everybody accountable, keep himself accountable, and demands the most out of his players, demands everything out of us. But he talks, he listens, and he's a great communicator, and so far everything's smooth.
Is that it for you? Yep. So Dan?
Hey Wes, Dan White here with the LA Times. Thanks for not bringing anything from your personal life to work today. We really appreciate your professionalism. Last night, after the game, LeBron tweeted that he thought Taylor was going to be special. Jared tweeted something similar. What was your awareness of him prior to joining this team? And I guess what has he shown you in camp?
Man, honestly, with the most respect, I didn't have any awareness of him, truthfully. And it wasn't until in the game that I even knew how old he was. Kawhi was like, hey, Wes, is Taylor's 19? I'm like, huh? Oh, 19. So I asked him, he's like, yeah, I just turned 20. I'm like, wow. So, I mean, special is definitely the word to describe his game. He's young, but he's got all the tools. He's a dog. He's tough on the offensive end, defensive end. He's crafty. He's got some stuff to him, and he's only going to get better. I mean, obviously he's learning from one of the best to ever touch a basketball, and he's just going to continue to grind and continue to work. And I'm excited to hopefully try to be a part of his growth and process.
Alan Slewa?
Hey Wes, hey, just want to get your thoughts. How long in a I guess you could say a regular schedule, how long does it usually take for you personally to get to the point in the season where you feel like, all right, your endurance is at top peak, the timing is on? How long does that usually take? And I know this is different from what we got coming up this year, but I'm curious to know what that usually takes for someone like you.
Genuinely, I mean, if this was regular circumstance, I think that I would be almost at, NBA regular season game shape right now. That's how I try to tailor my off seasons and stuff like that. Obviously, this being a completely different, year. It's been a little bit different, but I still feel very confident in by game one, opening night, that I'll be where I need to be. I play both ends of the court extremely hard. I give you everything that I have. It takes a lot. It's hard to replicate, what I do, which is, hound people on the defensive end, chase over screens, be physical on the defensive end, take screens, and then fly down the court and be ready to shoot the longest shot in the game. But it's something that my body is conditioned for, and being in camp with this team, with these guys, going up against guys like LeBron and Kuz and AD, and then having the first night be against Kawhi and PG, it's just gonna speed the curve up. So I'm feeling better and better every single day, especially with this condensed and awkward off season.
Eric Williams?
Hey Wes, just want to ask you where you're at in terms of defensively building that chemistry with the rest of the group, and how tough is it to build that chemistry in this condensed format without a lot of time training?
I mean, this is year 12, so I've seen a lot of defensive schemes. This one's pretty unique, but it's not something that can't be picked up, and it's just getting the nuances of it. Understanding what everybody's strong at, what everybody. Just basically that's it. How do we mesh everybody's strengths and make sure that they all coexist with what the defensive scheme is. For myself, it's a little bit of a change, because rather than navigating through screens, now they're just saying, hey, look, bust over, you're gonna have help. And so that's an adjustment for me. Whereas I was always, if I didn't make the stop, it was gonna be tough. And so kind of not gearing myself back a little bit, but understanding that I'm funneling people into, LeBron and Marc Gasol and AD and all the other defenders that this team has, as opposed to just, playing 1v2 or 1v1 around the screen.
Last three here, we'll go Brad Turner.
Hello, Wes. So Kawhi does talk, huh?
Yeah. I guess to certain people, I must be lucky.
I'm just wondering, how would you compare last night's game, even though it's playing at Staples with no fans, to the bubble? And will this be a challenging thing to find energy all season long with no fans in the arenas?
I don't think so. I don't think so because, I mean, once you compete, you compete. Like right now, we just had a hell of a practice. We were competing. The energy was high, and there was no fans in there. You know, the majority of our games, the majority of our work spent is behind closed doors. You know, there's not fans. And then, I mean, we're